Well, going into this season, it's like, hey, last season was great. Nice to have a trophy from the conference championship, but it's all behind us right now. And I think that's the thing we're still working on. I think we've got to make sure that we understand our record is the same as everybody else's right now, 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, I think throughout the season we set the standard pretty high in terms of the expectations we had for ourselves. We knew from the beginning of the year that we had a quality of team that could win the tournament, and be able to see that come to fruition, all our hard work, and be able to win even with that target on our back that we had throughout the regular season was pretty cool.
Well, just going to the tournament in general, it was really exciting. I had been there my first year here, making it to SECs, and we came up short against Arkansas, so definitely some hunger and excitement to be back. But I think as far as our record goes, we knew what kind of team we had, and we knew what we were capable of, so it really wasn't that much of a surprise to us with how successful we were. But I think we definitely knew deep down that that's what we were capable of.
We had confidence going in. We felt good. We won some games, and we just had the confidence. We felt good. We knew what we had to get done, and we had the drive. We saw the trophy. We knew it was at the end goal, and we wanted to get that.
It definitely felt like an advantage having that record and having the top seed. It's nice to have home ice through the whole tournament. You get to match up lines, you get last change, all that kind of stuff. So we knew that was going to be an advantage going in, but at the same time we had to keep the mentality to not be comfortable. All the work we put in the regular season obviously prepared us for the tournament, but we couldn't worry about how good our record was.
I mean, we had been in positions like that all season long, so we knew it was in us. We knew we just had to stay confident, hungry, and stick to the system that we've been running all year long, and know that there's ebbs and flows in the game. Don't let the highs get too high or the lows get too low.
I thought we'd be very competitive. I mean, the team was strong all year. I mean, the biggest thing that I saw was we had a great group that came together pretty quick, and just every game they went in with the attitude that they were going to take it, and that's a coach's blessing when you got a team like that.
I mean, we heard the hype from them all season long. We heard that maybe they were the best team and maybe we shouldn't be. We heard that they had the best players in the league, everything like that. But we believed that we were the best, that we could beat them. We fell into kind of a hole into the second period. We got a lot of penalties, and that's how they scored their 2 goals. But other than that, we played a pretty solid game. We shut down their top players, and after a while, they started to get aggravated, and they got upset with each other, started blaming each other. And we just stuck to our game plan. Third period, or the second period going to the third, we knew what we had to do. We had a little conversation in the locker room, and we believed in ourselves, and that was the main thing.
Well, between periods we were down 2-0, I guess after one, and what I noticed from the bench was we were shutting down their top guys. I mean, they were leading the conference and actually probably the nation. I think they were pretty high up there in the nation in scoring, but it was coming from just 3 or 4 of their guys. I knew if we could shut them down, we'd be competitive. It was just making sure that we could keep the morale up of the team if they got a jump on us, which they did. But again, because you have solid leadership, you got a solid core in the locker room, again, a coach's blessing, they take care of a lot of that business before the coaches even come in between periods. My statement to them was, between the second and third, is like, I know we've got this, because they're getting tired. They're running 3 lines. Now they're getting frustrated. And when they get frustrated, I could already tell they were sniping at each other on their bench. And I figured if we could pop a quick one, they're going to turn on each other. And I think the end of the game gave you a good indication of what happened.
I think the grit and determination we showed, even going down a couple goals, showed a lot about our character and about the guys we have in our locker room. Nobody gave up. Everybody continued to believe in one another throughout the game, and I think that really showed as we stormed back and got the win.
We worked this hard. Why let the season go to waste now? We put in countless hours, made so many sacrifices. We wanted it bad.
It's incredible. I mean, that's the reason you play hockey. That's something we worked for all season long, and honestly, there's not too many words to describe it, just because of the rush and the adrenaline and everything. But definitely the best moment of the season for sure.
It was an amazing moment. I mean, there was, we only had 4 guys on the roster that knew what that felt like, and myself, Jackson Katz, Nate Michelson, and Jake Solaski. So it was awesome to see all those guys that had been on the team multiple years working towards that, finally achieve that.
Yeah, it was pretty surreal. I mean, I don't think it really set in until that final buzzer went. I was standing on the end of the bench next to Zach Bochenek, and we just turned to each other and gave each other a big hug. And you know, seeing everybody flood off the bench and Campy in tears was pretty special.
You're happy for the team because they worked, as I told them, we started in Huntsville for training camp, battled through all season, and you go through the typical scenario of injuries, tired, you know, it's a long season. You know, coming off COVID, had its own kind of off-ice issues that affected, I think, everybody. But at the end of the day, as coaches, you're just thrilled for the team because all the hard work paid off. I mean, and I told them this, nothing feels as special as it does when you know you worked hard for it. If you kind of cheated or maybe got lucky a lot, it doesn't maybe have, you know inside it doesn't have that same feeling, but when you busted every game, busted every practice, worked to get better every shift, that's the end result. So to see them be able to enjoy that you know, I've won championships in my career as a coach, but that was, I gotta say, probably the most special one. It's kind of like the proud papa. You know, I've gone through 3 graduating classes now since I've been here. I've been here 6 years, and to see the personality of the players from last season with the incoming players, you know, you kind of sit back. It's like being at the dinner table with your family, and to see them intermingling and having a good time, knowing that they worked extremely hard that day. You know, we had 2 on-ice sessions that were over 2 hours each. We had chalk talk, which was a critical error on my part to do my session right after lunch. That was a big critical error, but most of them stayed awake.
I definitely think it's a way for everybody to get to know each other, and definitely a way for everybody to start figuring out how everybody plays with one another and how we all gel on the ice. I think it's a way for us to start practicing systems and start getting used to how things are going to work. And I think it's just a great way to start bonding for everybody and getting to know one another and spending time together.
It's a great time. I mean, everyone's there with each other. We're all sitting together in the hotel rooms, eating dinner, taking a bus trip. It's a great time. We have quite a few freshmen coming in, and I really didn't get to know them, but this trip, they're my brothers now. I know exactly, I can tell them they're my best friends now. From training camp, I mean, just sitting in the lobby, once we're done with everything, we all showered, came down to eat, and after dinner, we probably all talked for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, just telling stories about our lives, what we did over summer, just hanging out together. Just had a good bonding time as teammates.
Well, first thing, it's our big first weekend of conditioning, because obviously coming off the summer, you know, guys skate over the summer, but it's more so, you know, playing in adult league or, you know, the summer skates. You're not really getting true conditioning, so it's the perfect time to really just get the legs back where they need to be and be ready, be game ready.
It's going good, trying to knock the rust off. We got most of that off from training camp, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, especially if we want to win CHF and Nationals again. That's our goals right now, to get prepared, get ready, and we know what we have to do.
Training camp is really bringing, number one, the team together. We go off site to really, it's kind of a camouflage team building. You know, we're staying in a hotel. We try to mix it up where we have incoming players rooming with returning players. I don't like cliques among a team. It can happen easily. I want to make sure we have a lot of diverse personalities, people from different parts of the country. You want to bring them together, and that personality when we're there is UJ hockey, but everybody's individual personality makes up the flavor of the team. You know, that's what's really neat about the group we have. I mean, this year, you know, last night I was laughing. I hadn't heard as many Minnesota accents since I lived there, and then I heard the Long Island accent, and I coached there and lived there at one time too. So hearing the 2 opposite, kind of polar opposites in our locker room, but yet on the ice they're one team.
I mean, obviously we're devastated after that loss. We came in there, we beat them 2 times in the regular season. We knew what we had to do, but problems occurred. We started taking penalties. They scored 4 power play goals, and that's what ultimately hurt us at the end. They shut down our power play. We had 1, they had 4, and after that, we lost the game 4-2, and yeah.
Personally, it was my first time, you know, being able to go to Nationals. We hadn't been in a couple years, and so it was awesome to be able to, you know, fly with the team. Is always different. We don't really get to do that. Usually we're on a bus, so you know, amazing trip. Obviously, we came up a little bit short, but it was a fun experience.
Yeah, I mean, we're just trying to show that, you know, we're not really a one-hit wonder, and that there's more for us to do and more for us to accomplish this season. You know, we only lost 3 guys last year. We brought in some really great kids this year, so I think just taking that pain and that sting of losing last year in nationals and carrying it with us this year and fueling us.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a big deal heading up there, but I think it's something that we were comfortable with, and we knew we belonged in that tournament last year, and we hope to belong in it this next season. Obviously, for the guys that were there, it left a bad taste in our mouth with that loss to Alabama, so I think we have a little bit of unfinished business out there, so we're looking forward to going back.
You get to know the players. You get to know. You can tell. I can tell by their body language. I can tell about, you know, their posture in the locker room. I can tell who's kind of maybe down on himself because something happened that didn't go his way. But again, the good thing about this particular team, we've got strong personalities that are selfless in the sense of they see somebody down, they got their back, and it's more of a pick you, put it behind you, let's move on. You know, I need you focused on your next shift. I don't need you thinking about what happened. You know, go forward. And again, that's something that not every team has that type of personality. Sometimes you get people that maybe are just thinking about themselves and takes it off center, but this team really carried each other. So
We're looking to carry over the confidence that we had, the high pace, the speed, just everything. Everyone was clicking, the passes, everything was tape to tape. We're looking to carry that on to the next year, but we also have to learn from our mistakes, as in losing to Bama. We have to be better, can't take penalties. We have to learn from that and become the best team possible.
We definitely learned at nationals that we have to play a full 60 minutes. You know, we've always considered ourselves a third period team. We wear teams down during the first and second period and outlast them, and the third is where we kind of, you know, run away and take control of the game. But we learned at nationals, you know, when you're playing high caliber teams, you can't wait till the third to kick it in. We have to play a full 60 minutes because if you fall apart in the second period, you know, that's all it takes to lose a game when you're playing a team that's that good.
take them one at a time. That's our mentality all year. It's like focus on who the next opponent is and take care of business. I don't think I've never seen it once. It hasn't even been a thought of mine. It's just, I know that the team on their own has that kind of a spirit. We've got a lot of leaders on the team that the team they were with prior were wearing letters. So you've got a strong contingency of leaders. So that's the number one thing that is really probably different than our team than a lot of other teams.
Yeah, I mean, going into the home opener, obviously there's there's always that nervous energy, and you've got all the rookies that have never played in Athens before, so they're obviously pretty anxious to get going. But I think we're ready, and it's just getting that. The first one's always tough, so getting that first game out of the way and the jitters is, once we get that first one out of the way, we'll get rolling.
Oh, I'm so excited. Ever since we lost to Alabama, this is like what I've been looking forward to this season, kind of like not a revenge tour, but we know what we have to do, and we want to get that back.
Oh, I'm excited. For this being my last year. There's no better place to start the season than at home. Obviously, we got Tennessee coming into town. They're going to be a really tough test for us. They always, put up a good fight against us, but good sold-out crowd in the Classic Center. I don't think there's any better way to start a championship defense season than at home.
Yeah, can't wait to get back in front of our fans at the Classic Center. I think that's something that, as a first-year player last year, I didn't necessarily appreciate until I got onto the ice and realized the fan base that we have and the passion at which they approach hockey in the South, which is something that was super cool for me. I think that just getting back on the horse, obviously we're practicing right now, but when you really start playing, that's super fun, and I know it's something everybody's looking forward to.
Well, we learned, and the team will tell you this, we actually, with our systems, we didn't get too sophisticated with them at all. We really just wanted to enhance the basics, and we kept succeeding by just focusing on basics, quite honestly. And then we gradually, through the year, kept maybe adding a little tweak here and there. But really, I called it we stayed vanilla. And the exciting part this year is we had so many new players last season. That's the main reason we had to kind of keep it at a certain level. This year, with so many players returning, we're looking to up it, up our systems, be a little bit more aggressive, knowing the personalities on the team, knowing the strengths and weaknesses of what we have as a unified team. Now we can go there, and I know after going there last year, I've been to nationals before, I know this team can compete with anybody in the country. You know, and I think as disappointing as it was to go up there, you know, and go 2-1 but not be able to advance, we're hungry. I mean, we know we could be there. We know we're as good as any team that played in that tournament. No disrespect to anybody of my friend coaches out there, but quite honestly, I think you know, I'm telling you the truth, we can compete with anybody.
It's been good. It's kind of just getting into a rhythm. You know, obviously the formula that we had last year worked pretty well, ended up winning the conference, so it's just getting back into that rhythm, making sure the new guys learn the systems and building on what we had last year. You know, adding more and more layers to our systems and making sure we're being better than we were last year, raising things up another level, because obviously our goal isn't just to win the conference. Our goal is to make it all the way to Philly and win the whole thing.
Man, I think I would just say, you know, living up to those expectations of the College Hockey South champions. I mean, I think we're going to have a target on our back wherever we go. Everybody wants to take off #1, so it's going to be a battle to stay there, and I'm looking forward to doing it.
I'm super excited. My dad's family's from up there, up in Buffalo, so great to see them, and it'll be great to see other competition, all those northern teams. Everyone talks so high about them. It'll be nice to see how we compete and compare, and it'll be a great time.
I think a good message for the fans would be like, this is a really exciting team, and I think it'd be safe to say we've improved over last year's team. So that's something that the fans should be really eager to see. Is, you know, we did lose, you know, 3 key pieces with the seniors that left last year, but we've picked up some really good freshman players, and I think this team's built to go even further and be more successful than last year's team.
Yeah, I mean, I think they should expect a lot of the same things that they saw last year. You know, we're going to be fast, going to be a good skilled team. We got a lot of good young kids that came in this year, so it's going to be definitely action-packed hockey, that's for sure.
Pick up where we left off last year and taking it further, and watching them enjoy as the season progressed. I mean, it's like life, and that's what they roll their eyes, and I got a guy over here who's probably gonna roll his eyes when I say this, but a big part of what I do, and I've never stopped doing it, despite some guys that, again, roll their eyes. It's life lessons by Campy. I mean, that's part of a coach. What we do is kind of, we've been through things. I mean, I'm an old dog. I mean, I've been around the block a few times. There's things that you try to take from on ice and life, and make sure that when you see some things that maybe you just want to give some advice. It's like a fatherly advice. You want to be able to kind of give them career advice. You want to be able to say, this thing that happened on the ice, good or bad, how you handle that is going to be reflected in how you do professionally and how you will interact with your future family. There's a lot of variables come from sports. So again, the proud part of, I think any coach will tell you, is when you actually see them succeed. You have the time you have with them, then when you see them succeed in life, you know, every week I get correspondence from former players at this point. You know, that's the part where you see them on LinkedIn, they just got a promotion, they just got this. And then when they call you up and say, hey coach, it's one of those life lessons in camping. I had this problem at work today. This boss is a piece of work. But then I thought about one of those life lessons by Campy sessions. It's like, that's when I'm like, that validates why I'm going to keep doing it.
I think for sure the Tech game, everybody knows that one for obvious reasons, but I would say Tennessee was another big game at home. You know, that week we knew they were going to be our toughest test, and you know, we prepared really well for them, and the crowd was electric that game. I'm pretty sure it was a sold out game. So we just came out, we made a statement, we took it to them right off the hop. So I think that's one game that sticks out for me at home.
So one of the coolest parts about playing for this team is seeing the fans at the Classic Center. Every time we play at home, show out in force, be passionate. Like I said, even being hockey in the South, these people love hockey, and getting a chance to go and throw on the Georgia jersey and represent UGA in some capacity is something that, you know, will always stick with me, and it's super special. So I would just say to all the fans, thank you. You're what keeps us going, and bring that energy this year.